Grandpa Joe was so old. He was wrinkly and bald, and his eyesight was so bad that he couldn't even see where he was going. It was a miracle he'd never been hit by a car. He knew that he needed help before he got seriously injured. One day, his granddaughter came to visit him with a special gift.
Okay, Grandpa. I've got something for you that's going to make your life so much better.
Not more medicine, please!
Grumbled Grandpa.
No. Just give me your hand.
He took Grandpa Joe's hand and put it in the box. Grandpa Joe felt something warm and furry, and when he touched it, he heard a...
It's a special seeing dog, Grandpa. His name is Wisdom. Try letting him take care of you for a few days and let me know how it goes.
That night, Wisdom and Grandpa Joe were asleep when a strange noise woke them up. It sounded like it was coming from the living room.
Wisdom?
Whispered Grandpa Joe.
Is that you?
Then he heard voices. Wisdom began to growl.
Easy, boy. Probably just the grandkids trying to surprise me.
Grandpa Joe put his slippers on and with Wisdom by his side, made his way to the living room.
Alright, surprise is on you. Now come give Grandpa a big hug.
The two visitors froze and turned slowly. They weren't his grandchild at all. They were robbers. But poor old Grandpa Joe with his bad eyesight had no idea.
Oh, hi, Grandpa,
said one of the robbers, faking a different voice.
We just came to borrow a couple of things.
Wisdom started to growl and bark louder and louder. He was trying to tell Grandpa Joe that these men were not who he thinks they are. Wisdom was showing him the truth, but Grandpa Joe just rambled on and ignored Wisdom. Sometimes we ignore God's wisdom. Some of you look up to your bad friends and think you'll be somebody if you can be like them. You are just as blind as Grandpa Joe. If you would listen to God's wisdom, He would show you who you should truly look up to. You have to seek God's wisdom for your life every day, because God's wisdom will show you the truth. As Wisdom got louder and more aggressive, the robbers got nervous.
Get that dog away from me!
One of the robbers cried.
Wait a minute. You're not my grandkids. Get out of my house, you thieves!
Grandpa Joe was so mad. He thought he'd take care of business. He grabbed his prized possession that hung on the wall above his rocking chair. It was an old crossbow for hunting deer.
Don't move, or I'll shoot!
He yelled as he held the weapon. He was so blind, he didn't realize that he was holding the crossbow backwards. If he shoots, he'll only hurt himself. Wisdom saw that Grandpa Joe was about to do something dangerous, and he leaped into action. Just as Grandpa Joe was about to shoot, Wisdom jumped over the rocking chair and bit him right on the backside. Grandpa Joe sprung into the air with a yelp.
Ouch! Wisdom!
He squealed. As he did so, the crossbow fired and the arrow shot through the air. Why would Wisdom do such a thing? He did it because he was trying to protect Grandpa Joe. That was some real tough love. The Bible says that God's wisdom is like a shepherd's stick. It can be painful, but it's helpful. If God's wisdom said you should hang out with godly people, that would be really painful for someone who would have to get rid of some bad friends. But this would save you from hurting yourself further down the line. You need to seek God's wisdom for your life because God's wisdom protects you from doing things that could end up hurting you. Wisdom and Grandpa Joe ducked for cover as the arrow whizzed across the room through the sleeve of one of the robbers, pinning him to the front door.
You've got to get out through the back door, boy!
Grandpa Joe whispered to Wisdom as the first robber tugged on the arrow that stuck his partner to the door.
I don't think I can make it by myself. I need your help, Wisdom. Can you guide me?
When we are confused and don't know what to do, The Bible says we should seek God for His wisdom, and He will give it to us. When you are facing trouble, when you have tough choices, when you feel alone and that you need someone to guide you, will you pray and seek God's wisdom for your life? God's wisdom will guide you when you are confused. Wisdom tugged at Grandpa Joe's pajamas, and they made a run for it. Out of the living room, through the kitchen, into the garage, and out of the house. Grandpa's feet hardly touched the ground as Wisdom guided him through the streets to the police station. Finally, they could relax. Every time Grandpa Joe tried to do something without wisdom, he got in trouble. We are no different. The Bible says wisdom is more valuable than rubies, that without it, we will end up on the wrong path. God's wisdom won't seek for you. You need to decide today that you will seek God's wisdom for your life. At the police station, the robbers were locked up and Grandpa Joe's granddaughter came to meet him. Wisdom got a well-deserved rest.
You know, fellas, if it wasn't for wisdom, I would have never made it.
The end.